excited to share the stage with my lovely wife, and we're going to talk about love and business.
You ready?
Yes.
Are you all ready? Yes! Well, I am excited to be here and to share the stage with my husband. It's been, about 4 years since we've trained this topic, and it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart because, people ask us all the time, how do you do it? How do you build this multi-million-dollar business with your husband and still love him at the end of the day?
All right.
And it's not easy, but it's worth it. And so what we're going to do today is pretty much take you guys on a journey and then share with you some success principles that we've applied in our own business. And these strategies are strategies that we have learned and we have applied successfully in our business. So nothing that we're sharing with you guys is textbook. It's not, it's all reality. Let me say that. It's all reality and our reality. So we're going to be very transparent with you guys. Is that okay? So what I want to do is start off by telling you guys our journey, how it all started. And it started for us back in August of 2000. And I remember walking down the aisle to this fine specimen of a man. And I was so excited. I was excited about life. I was excited that God had connected us. I was excited that we were going to start this journey called life together. This was going to be the future father of my children, and I was excited to start this journey. How many of you guys remember when you got married and the excitement and the promises that your future held? Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause for that. So I remember that moment, and it was a wonderful day. People ask me, do you regret spending the money on your wedding? I'm like, absolutely not. I remember every single moment of that day. But then, life kicks in.
She was right. Just 2 years later, life kicked in. But before I say that, I do remember that wedding day too.
What part do you remember?
You were so in love with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. I was.
I believe that. I believe that. She was so in love with me.
You should.
But let me tell you, just 2 years later, 2 years later, life kicked in. In 2 years, we started to go from here, aligned on one accord, and we started to grow apart. Look at the picture, okay? I started to live in what I call the 100,000-air blue-collar lifestyle, okay? Look at that picture. I was weighing about 225 pounds back then. Life had kicked in. We had bought our first home. I had begun to work in 8 to faint. Who works 8 to faint? Or know somebody that works 8 to faint? Just 2 small years later, working 8 to faint, 100 hours a week. I became institutionalized on the job. Okay? And it was so crazy because we began to grow apart. I remember we got our first house. And I always I'm reading this book now called Outwitting the Devil. Who's heard of that book? Yeah. It's called The Hypnotic Rhythm. I was living in this 100,000-air rhythm. And basically what we did was, we had 2 great jobs making 6 figures. And then we went and moved in this $1 million community. Okay? Moved in this $1 million community. Bought this house, unfinished basement. I had the nice Lexus smoked out off the 20s. Y'all know how we do, right? And then I became institutionalized on this job because I was working 100 hours a week to pay for a house that I couldn't afford. Am I making sense? We were starting to grow apart, and this young lady, this beautiful young lady that was so in love with me, okay, at that point in our life, she began not to like me. My son didn't know me because I became institutionalized on my job. Who knows what I'm talking about?
And so for me during this time frame, I'd never forget, I was so caught up in the corporate America dream. And I